So actually the presentation, I have been in Vietnam for last 4 years. I have seen quite many things here in Hanoi, in Ho Chi Minh City. And one thing that I am always impressed with is how much energy and talent and young people are in Vietnam. And there's a lot of energy among people to do something good, just like Key is doing in developing this product with his team. And one thing that I sort of found missing is awareness about digital among the masses. So only people who are working in IT companies, they know a lot about digital. All of us know a lot about digital, but if you see general awareness among young people is not that high. And I think there are various reasons to it. It's also because of, many young people are busy learning their studies and learning English, for example, and then there is a little time left to look for other things. But as all of us know, that digital is really giving a lot of opportunities to build careers, to find good jobs, working with international clients. My program in Vietnam is about giving talks to university students, young professionals about how they can shape a roadmap to build a powerful career, so that they are not only, when they know English, they are not only thinking about becoming a translator or interpreter or working in tourism or English teacher, but they have more option to think about and choose from. So that is basically the goal of my talks. And today we will be focusing, because I am from a Salesforce architect, as someone mentioned before. My focus today will be how Salesforce, for example, can help a young person in Vietnam build powerful career. This young person can be you, this can be your friends, this can be someone you know who speaks, for example, good English, who wants to expose himself or herself to work in an international environment. And this can be sort of a basic roadmap for that. So basically a journey to become an impactful Salesforce professional. That's what I'm going to talk about. Let's continue, Ms. Chow, to the next slide. So beforehand, before this session, I think yesterday or day before, we asked to basically our participants to fill in some quiz. Actually, it was a very quick quiz of 40 questions, and it's a very what this kind of quiz can help you understand is how you are, how we are as person, because sometimes we do not know. We have certain view about ourselves, but sometimes we do not know exactly what are our strengths, what are our weakness, and this kind of quiz can help us gain some insight. Maybe not 100% correct, but they can help us definitely gain some insight about ourselves by asking indirect questions, right? So in this quiz, there were about 40 questions, and this quiz basically measures you on 5 factors. First one is extroversion, which is about how social you are. And I did this quiz with many people in Vietnam. And one thing that that is very remarkable that I see is that score on extroversion, which is like how much social you are, how much extrovert you are, how easily you can talk to a stranger, a foreigner. The scores are always on the lower or in the average, in the middle side. So very rarely I find someone who is scoring very high on this. And that is also, for example, gives us an insight about what we can change to basically, because if you want to become a consultant, if you want to work with international clients in an international environment, one thing that will help you is to become extrovert, to become a bit more social, to do not hesitate to ask questions, for example, or talking to strangers, or talking to C-levels or different departments. That is one thing that can help. And for example, I will not go into all these details for this quiz because we have limited time, but I would suggest everyone to actually take this quiz and see what the results, whether or not you can agree with it, or does this insight help you to take some action so that you can become a more impactful human being and professional. So that is the summary of this slide. Let's continue. Yeah, so my name is Anu. I'm a founder of Duro Jones, which is a small consulting firm based on Salesforce. So I have advised many clients in Europe on how they can improve their CRM, customer relationship management, and maybe I will come back on this if some of you do not know this term. So how they can basically improve their customer relationship management, which involves sales, marketing, customer service, how they can give their customers a better experience with their product and services. That's where I focus on, and my specialty is Salesforce, which I will talk about more in the coming slide. I have 10 plus years of experience in CRM and Salesforce, mainly in Netherlands, but also in other countries in Europe, Dubai, Japan, Taiwan, now in Vietnam. I was based in Netherlands. I'm Indian by birth and Dutch by nationality because I lived in Netherlands for a long time. And as I said, I advise enterprises on how to effectively adopt Salesforce as a CRM. Let's continue. So today's world is changing with digital, and more recently with pandemic. What is happening is that business is coming onto the mobile phone. So customers are coming onto the mobile phone for their needs, the services that they need, the products they need, and the businesses are coming onto the mobile phone to basically do business from anywhere. For example, if I see myself, I think 80% of my work is already now happening on my mobile phone. I rarely need to log into my computer, and I think this will become 100% in the years to come. So basically, when you are so much mobile, you can only thing you need is a mindset, some skills, and a high-speed internet to be successful. No matter where you are, no matter where your clients are. With pandemic, many things have changed. For example, in Japan, my clients always wanted me to be there, even for a meeting. But now with pandemic, more and more companies, even in Japan, are learning to become remote, which is quite a big change, because that is the case that has never been in Japan. But not only in Japan, or everywhere, this is becoming very normal to work remotely, engage with different people in different locations. So I think this will also help bring, for example, a universal equality in how where companies reach out for talent, because talent can be anywhere and you can get it from anywhere, and it should not be concentrated in only, for example, not only on English-speaking countries, and not only on countries which have picked up digital earlier and have become much greater than others. Let's continue, Michelle. So takeaway from this session, every PPT should have some takeaway, every talk should have some takeaway, and for this, the takeaway, as I said earlier, will be that you can become aware of Salesforce CRM, and if you like it, you can build a career roadmap towards a successful career in Salesforce. And like I said, you can be you or your friends who may be looking to build a powerful career. So please feel free. I will share this PPT after this call to the audience, and feel free if you would like to share it with someone who could benefit from learning about a technology such as Salesforce and building a powerful career on it. So what will be discussed today? 3 things. First thing is becoming aware of what is CRM, what is Salesforce. What does the business world of Salesforce actually expect from us? What do our clients in Europe, Japan, US expect from us? but what does it take actually to become an impactful Salesforce professional? So let's move. So before we go into my talk, I would like to have a small question towards you. It's a very maybe it's a very easy question to answer, but I want to know, what do you think are the 3 activities that every company, every for-profit business must do? So if you have any answer, please raise your hand, and then I will ask you to answer. Yes, Key, please go ahead.
Deliver the product or services to the market.
Deliver the product and the service. Yeah, deliver. That's another way. Anyone else? Good answer. Yes, Miss Chow.
Yes, it's 3. I think it will be sales, marketing, and recruitment. What do you think?
Very good, very good. I mean, that's almost the answer. Actually, sales, marketing, recruitment. One thing I would like to add there is customer service, right? Because when you are selling to your customer, first of all, you have to market your product or service so that people know, they become aware about your services. When you want to sell, basically, you have to market. So after they become aware of your service, they can place an order. And then after that, they have your product or service. You also have to do customer service, because if I buy an iPhone and after 5 days it does not work and I cannot reach anyone from Apple, then that would be a disaster. I think that would be a very bad situation. So sales, marketing, customer service, and I also agree that recruitment is also the thing that you need to do, because without recruiting you cannot have people. But at least sales, service, marketing, even if you are alone building something, or if you are building something with your friend, that is something that you have to definitely do: sales, marketing, customer service. And actually that is what Salesforce is all about, to help companies become better at it. So, salespeople, customer service agent, marketing people, they are busy people. And if there are things that can help them become more productive, they can achieve better results. Company can make higher revenues and profit. So Salesforce basically helps companies to automate things that are can be automated, so that a salesperson, for example, can focus on one thing, and which is selling. So reaching out to more prospects, reaching out to client, having conversation with them about their product and services, and not like spending 6 hours on an Excel sheet creating report for the higher management. So that is, for example, can be different when you use something like Salesforce. So what is Salesforce actually? Actually, the answer will depend on which year you ask this question, because if you ask this question in year 2000, Salesforce was only a CRM. It was world's first software as a service in the form of CRM for salespeople. So when I say CRM for salespeople, it's about that salespeople can log their information about customers, about activities they are doing, about opportunities and deals they are working on, so that with the help of this information, the CEO of a company can get insight into how much revenue can I expect in next 3 months, next 6 months, next year. And for example, if it's a product company, then they also need to know how much they need to produce in a certain amount of time. So that is how Salesforce started. But after in the last 20 years, it has grown into much more, actually. So it started as sales, but then they also introduced Service Cloud, which is for helping customer agent and contact center of a company to basically be to optimize their service, to be more productive with their customer service. And then they started acquiring some good companies in the CRM space, like companies such as ExactTarget, and they changed it to Marketing Cloud. Then they integrated it with their sales and service. They acquired recently, if you know, they acquired this thing called Slack, which is a collaboration platform. And they acquired it because everything in the COVID time is happening on the chat, because people are working from their homes. And one thing they are doing is chatting with their employees, with their customers, with their partners. And to make it, when you connect your CRM to your chat or collaboration platform, companies can help their employees be productive from wherever they are, whether they are in their homes or somewhere else. It can help them keep engaged, because engagement has been one of the main challenges in the last year and this year with pandemic. Companies are finding it hard to engage their employees when they are working remotely, because that is not how humans are used to. We are used to talking and meeting each other, working in the same space. So that is why they acquired Slack, for example. So now Salesforce has become a total end-to-end customer experience platform. So they have almost everything a company needs to offer customers a good experience and keep them satisfied. Earlier, companies used to think mainly about processes and workflows and security. But since last 4 or 5 years, with the help of digital, the more and more companies are focusing on one thing, which is customer experience. Because if you give your customer good experience with your product and service, they will stay with you and the revenues will go up automatically. All right, so let's continue. So here I wanted to see a video, but I think I don't know if, oh, very good. So actually we can show it. Let's start. After this call, I will share with you some of the videos and links that I have for this call, so that you can watch it in your free time. So the question is, why should I consider Salesforce as a career choice? And that's where our slide will be about. Let's go to the next slide, Ms. Chow. So Salesforce, actually, did we miss one slide? Or is it where it starts? Okay. Salesforce is growing very rapidly, so is the demand for good Salesforce professional. And let me show you how in the next slide. So you see, there are different roles within Salesforce. You can be a Salesforce administrator or business analyst, a consultant or a developer. You can be a marketer or an architect like me, or you can be a customer service agent. So there are different roles, and this is the average salary of these people in US. This can be a little bit higher or lower, but this is just what I received from a survey. On the right, you see there are actually quite a few Salesforce professionals in Vietnam as well. I started actually a community in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, and both the communities have around 100 people in the groups, and we organize sessions, learning session, networking events, parties, so that we keep engaged within this community. Let's move to the next slide. So actually what I say is that one slide I think I'm missing. If we go to the top, there was a slide about how Salesforce has grown in the last 20 years. If we go back up a little bit. Yeah, the slide in the blue. Yeah. So basically why Salesforce why we should consider building a career on Salesforce. I think answer is very clear in the picture. If you see on the right top, Salesforce actually has been dominating the CRM market internationally. It has around 20% market share in CRM, whereas other companies such as Oracle, SAP, Adobe, even Microsoft are struggling to gain share in that market. And if you see in the bottom picture, in 2015, they had less than 5 billion revenues, and last year actually they achieved 20 billion revenue within 5 years. That is 400 times increase. So Salesforce is actually growing quite fast because it's very innovative. They have it's also a very social company, so they are very engaged not only with their customers but also partners like my company, like DataHouse and other companies in Vietnam and abroad who are doing Salesforce. They are quite engaged with them. They are supporting them very actively. And actually 90% of Fortune 500 companies are customers of Salesforce. And the only ones that are not are actually the competitors, like you can see in this picture, Oracle, SAP. These are the companies, of course, that do not use Salesforce because they have their own CRM. But most of big companies are actually using Salesforce. So let's go back to where we were. What does these companies expect from us? What do our customers expect from a Salesforce professional? So these are all based on my experience of last 10 years working in this industry. And expectation one is that a Salesforce professional must be certified. By certified, I mean he or she should have certain certification which prove that they have the knowledge and the skills. For example, we have a Sales Cloud consultant, a Marketing Cloud consultant, Customer Service Cloud consultant. So you have to be certified. That is more like a prerequisite than an evidence of your knowledge, but that's how it works in Salesforce ecosystem. If you are certified, it will be easier for you to be part of the system, get invited by customers to help to basically help them with the CRM implementation. You have to be collaborative, so you have to collaborate not only with business but also with IT teams, different vendors, different departments like sales, marketing, customer service departments, and you have to sort of take the lead in that. Another thing that is important is that you have to be prescriptive. And by prescriptive, I mean that it's not like you only have suggestion for the client, but you know how to actually lead them towards a very effective solution step by step. Just like like a doctor who can prescribe you medicines, and based on your symptoms, he creates a sort of a plan for you to heal. Just like that, consultants or professional in Salesforce must be very prescriptive. That's what clients like, when you can actually lead them towards a solution step by step. And you have to be confident. So by confident can mean many things, but confident in this case means that you can initiate conversation, you can initiate workshops, you can initiate meetings, define the topic, get everyone in the room, get some decisions made, and continue the progress, because that is how you can make progress faster and more effective way. We work in a very complex environment in big companies, and if you cannot make it specific, you cannot make it, you cannot define the problem, and you cannot define what you need from others, then it will be very difficult to make progress. So these are the things that you need. Expectation 2 is that you must have a balanced mix of Salesforce skills and industry skills, because now we work in a way that we have a service such as Salesforce, which already offers a lot of features. So you have to know what is inside the box, what does this service offer, and how to make this service work for the business. So the attitude should not be that, okay, that someone from your customer side will tell you what to do and then you will do it. No, you have to be knowing the industry. If your client is a telecom client, you have to know what is BSS, what is OSS, how are these services sold, and how Salesforce can be used to support these services. It should not be that, oh, you ask your clients what do they want and you are building it from scratch. That's not how it works. Let's move on to the expectation 3. So a Salesforce professional can clearly formulate and communicate different options. We work in a very complex environment. Like I said earlier, there is no one solution to a problem. There are always options, and you have to consider, for example, you have to consider the timeline, you have to consider the risk, you have to consider the outcomes, and based on that, you provide different options to the client so that they can choose one option based on their business requirement. And that is what a Salesforce professional should be able to do. Formulate those options with their benefits and with their drawbacks and their constraints, so that he or she gives a full picture of how businesses can use Salesforce. Let's move on. So a Salesforce professional must be capable of giving shape and boundaries to often vague requirements, right? Business requirements are often vague, and it's very important that you can scope as a professional, because if you cannot scope, you do not know how much money, how much time, how much effort are needed to basically deliver those requirements. So Salesforce professionals should be very good in making vague business requirement into a specific requirement, and making good agreements with the client about, okay, this is what you need, this is how I will deliver it step by step, and this is how much it will cost in terms of money and efforts and skills. Expectation. Next expectation is a Salesforce professional relentlessly works to enhance experience of the customer. This is a very interesting statement, in my opinion, because you are not only thinking about your customer, but actually you are thinking a lot about their customers, because this is a customer experience platform for the customer of Salesforce. And you always have to keep that in mind, how you can give a good experience to the customers of the customer. This is a very, this is a no-brainer. A Salesforce professional has to be fluent in English communication, because, most of the clients come from countries such as the USA, Europe, where the only common language you can speak is English. And therefore, English communication is like, it's not a choice, but a must. Let's move on. So for the audience in this call, or for anyone that could be your friend who wants to evaluate where they are in the Salesforce journey, if they want to become a Salesforce professional, I have some questions in the next slides, and let's go through it one by one. So the first thing is to ask yourself whether you are a curious person or you are bored. By curious, I mean that you have a lot of why to ask before you can start doing a how. In Japanese, they have this 5 why kind of framework, where you ask your question about a problem. You ask first why. For example, in this case, the vehicle is not starting, the car is not starting. So you ask why, and then you get the answer, because the battery is dead. But that is not the main cause, right? Then you have to ask another why. Why the battery is dead? Because the alternator is not functioning. And then you ask why the alternator is not functioning, because the alternator belt has broken. But why the belt has broken? Because it was actually beyond its useful service life and not replaced. And why it was not replaced is because the vehicle was not maintained according to the recommended service schedule. So see, if you start with why the vehicle will not start, and you just say because battery is dead, you can replace the battery, but again it will very soon be dead again. And we see this problem. I know I can tell that all of us have seen an issue where we quickly fix it, but then it happens again, because we did not go to the root cause. So being curious helps you basically go towards the root cause and solve the problems on long term, rather than having problems that will reappear because they were not fixed properly. Let's go to the next. So, do I participate in discussion and share my views, or do I avoid confrontation? Saying maybe is the easiest thing to do, but it will not get you far, because in business world we are always expected to have our opinions. We always are expected to tell what we think about a certain situation. I see sometimes a lot of people know a lot of, for example, a lot of English, but they will not speak because they think, oh, they might make a mistake. So what they are doing is that they are not recognizing what they know, but they are afraid of what they do not know. And that is something that can lead you not far, because you have to be aware of what you know and how to bring those points across to the other person, to your clients. There is something called imposter syndrome, where we think that we know very little and what other people know is a lot. And I think in reality, everyone knows something good, something that they can share and can be valuable to the other person. And in general, everyone has sort of an equivalent knowledge of different things. So I think being a yes/no person allows you to be more effective, and to be able, that will help you also to be in uncomfortable situation, which will help you to expose yourself, be challenged, and learn more. Because you cannot learn more when you are in your comfortable zone, because you are not learning anything at that time. When you come out of your comfortable zone, then that's where the learning starts happening very rapidly. Let's move on to the next. Are my arguments based on knowledge and experience, or on pride and emotions? This is very important, to be aware of that your argument should come from your knowledge, experience, and skills, and not because you are feeling something is happening, but you have no evidence for it. For example, one example I will give is that some young people I talk to in Vietnam, and I ask them, do they like Trump or hate Trump? Most of them, they say they like Trump, and Trump is very good. And I ask them why. So they have only one answer: because he hates China. So I think that is a very single topic, thinking based on emotion, and not a very objective fact, right? That's just one example that I could think of. So it's good to be open-minded, know that you do not know everything. Even people like Einstein said that the only thing that he knows is that he does not know much. So that awareness helps you, be in conversation in a objective way. Let's move on to the fourth. So this is about giver or a taker. There's a very good book I can recommend on this topic called Give and Take by Adam Grant. So I will start by defining who is a giver, who is a taker, and who is a matcher. So if you see, givers are the people who are helping others, who are genuinely interested in making others improve, or become better, even earn more money, without thinking their own benefit. So they are genuinely interested in helping the communities in which they work. And then there are takers. Takers always put their own interest above the needs of others. So they are always, if they will enter into a conversation, if they think they will benefit from it. If there is no benefit, direct benefit, they will not enter into a conversation. So they are always thinking about how I can benefit from something. For example, a company with the taker attitude will be a company who is always sort of thinking how they can get money from the customers, but not thinking about how they can offer value to the customer, so that they can be better at what they do, and then you can earn money from them. So takers are always thinking about getting money first, and not about offering value. Matchers are people who basically they are here it says they protect themselves by seeking reciprocity. So that's also human nature. We always do not want to help a lot to other because we only want to help when other people also help us, and that is like a transaction. So basically, this is, for example, I help you learn English and you help me learn Vietnamese. That's sort of a matcher kind of attitude. Most people in the world are matchers, according to this book. And there is also an interesting finding in this book that the most successful people, the people really at the top, people like Bill Gates, they are givers, but also most unsuccessful people really at the bottom are also givers. And I can either tell you why or I can ask you to read this book. So I will actually go with the second option so that I keep your curiosity about why that is the case. Do I take responsibility for my mistakes, or I always find excuses, right? Like Key said earlier that they made a lot of mistakes while building the product, and that's a very nice thing to say and admit, because there is nothing wrong with making mistake. You cannot be a perfect person always. So when you make mistake and you recognize it, people will actually appreciate you for your honesty. So there is nothing wrong with the making mistake, because when you make a mistake and you are finding excuse for the other person or for the customer, it will be a very bad experience when they see you acting in a way that you clearly made a mistake and you are now trying to save your face and not admitting it. That's actually will make them more annoyed. So always be open to taking responsibility for your mistakes. Are my action driven by empathy or apathy? Key also talked about a lot of empathy-based design thinking. And here I have an example, and I will let you read it on the right, this conversation. And I would like to ask you, whoever wants to answer, about what do you think is wrong with this conversation. Please raise your hand, and you can tell me.
So hi, Adu.
Hi.
Can you please repeat the question? I'm not really get it. Yeah.
I see. My question is, on the right side, you see a conversation between a customer and a business owner. Business is a restaurant chain, and customer is saying something, and there's a response from the owner. I want to ask, what is maybe missing in this conversation? Yes, Dup, please go ahead.
Hi, Anu. Hi, everyone. I think the response from the owner did not, he misaddressing the problem in the review.
Yeah.
So the problem here is that the restaurant did not offer free drinking water, and the owner only addressed the positive part of the review, but not the negative part, which is no free drinking water.
Yeah, right to the point. So is it empathy? Is it empathy or is it apathy?
I think it's apathy in this case.
Exactly, right? So when you talk about customer experience, and in this case, he only sort of, he tried to save his face. He did not address the point why the water is not free in this particular chain when it is free everywhere else for the same restaurant chain, right? So will it help the customer or will it make him more annoyed, right? It will make him more annoyed because he did not address. The customer is sharing their pain, but their pain is not addressed. And instead, the owner is reacting in a way that everything is so good with his business. And I don't know the reason. It could be that he wants to earn more money by selling, drinks, but he did not address. He should have addressed the question why the water is not free there.
Actually, I think like it feels like a copy paste answer.
Yeah, that would be even more horrible.
Yeah.
I agree. It could be a copy-paste answer, and this will be actually even more horrible because you are totally, you know, neglecting the comment of the customer. But in any case, you get the point. When we are thinking about, you know, if we say we are empathetic, you cannot have answers like this. You have to, you know, you have to let customer know, every customer know that you're thinking about them, and your CRM should help you basically do this more effectively. So very good answer from Dup, and let's go to the next one. Yeah, this is also very easy, you know. Am I trying too hard learn English, or I'm taking it easy? There are two ways to learn anything, that you put your focus to it, you know why it is important, and you go for it, or you take it easy. You are learning it just occasionally, and it will take you maybe forever to be at a stage where you will be actually be able to be confident in conversation. So when you know the goal, why, when you know the why, you will know how. So if you know why you should learn English, why you should be a better English speaker, you will know how to do it, and you will do it. That's I think how it works. And let's move. So this is a little bit of my journey of last 10 years in Salesforce and in CRM space. When I started my career, my confidence level was very moderate. I could not speak to the client. I avoided confrontation because I felt I was not confident. My public speaking was non-existing. I could not speak in public. I would just, you know, I will have a lot of trouble or a lot of nervous. I will be a lot of nervous. And my leadership, I was not leading anybody at that time. Let's say in the year 2010, I was responsible for doing my duties, and that's it. And what you see in this picture is how step by step I can do more because I set a roadmap for myself. I gained experience working with international client and in international culture, understanding what sort of, for example, people from Netherlands expect based on their culture. One thing you all know probably is that people in Netherlands are very direct. So they want you to be very direct about what you think, whether it's a yes or no. They don't like maybe so much. After some experience in 2014, my confidence level was somewhat okay. It's not the best, but still okay. I could do client-facing role more often, but my public speaking was still non-existing. Later on, from 2014 to 2017, I developed more in working with teams, also coaching teams to deliver, for example, large Salesforce transformation. Sometimes I work with 7 agile teams working on different parts in a big program and leading the customer towards a successful CRM transformation. My confidence level was much high. I could do speeches and talks very often. And finally, from the year 2020 or 2019, I shaped myself more as an entrepreneur. My confidence level is very high. I can talk to clients regularly. I build big proposals, work on sales proposals, RFPs, or sometimes they can be in millions. Scoping the needs of a big program, assigning resourcing, skills, and timelines, and cost to it. I'm very comfortable with it now. I was not before. So you see, I took on a journey, but this journey can be very different. For some people, it can take only 2 years, 3 years. For some people, can take more than 10 years. But what is important is that we actually go step by step. We know where we are going, and we take steps towards it. So that is what I can advise from my experience and from my learning. All right, let's move on to the next. So what else does it take to become an impactful Salesforce professional? I talked a lot about soft skills. I talk about what clients expect. but actually what is the knowledge that you need to gain to become a Salesforce professional? Let's take a look at this in our next slides. So main thing is that gaining knowledge, skills, and experience, and that happens in that order. When you gain knowledge, then you know something, but you still don't know how to apply it. Then you work in projects for the clients, and you learn skills by applying that knowledge. And after a few years, you keep doing it, and you build your experience, and you basically become a professional. Very important thing again I will go is that confront your shyness, because if you don't confront your shyness, you will not be able to take this path. And like I said, taking first steps is important. If you are going somewhere, you cannot reach anywhere if you don't take the first steps. Next slide, please, Micha. So first of the thing in becoming a Salesforce professional is identify what you want to do. What is your strength? If you are a good, if you are more extrovert, maybe if you are more confident, you should start with a Salesforce consultant career track. If you are more technically good, you can look into becoming a Salesforce administrator or developer, and later on moving into Salesforce architect. If you are more into business, if you are, for example, you like to a lot about campaigns, customer journeys, and how to help your clients gain more leads and prospects, then you can think about becoming a Salesforce marketer, for example. And all of these roles have different needs, different knowledge needs, different skill need, and that's where first of the question that you have to answer is what you want to be based on this. So first of all, choose your role. That's the step one, and then let's go to the step two. This is about setting some milestones for yourself. If you want to, like I said, if you set some milestones, you will be more serious working towards it. So if you want to become, for example, a marketing consultant, then you have to set a goal of, let's say, from 3 months from now, I will take this certification. Because what will this help is that it will help you become more serious. It will help create a sense of urgency. So you can, start learning about Marketing Cloud. You can start doing the training, which I will talk about in next slide. And you can start building your knowledge so that you are ready to take the exam. The exam, also how to take it, I will explain it in one of the upcoming slides. Let's move on to the step 3. Step 3 is find a coach. It will also always help you to find someone who has done it. Like I said, we have a community in Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City. I know there are many people also in Da Nang who are working in Salesforce. But if you cannot find anyone, you can find me, and I will help you create a roadmap for you. So find a coach. Second, let's go to the next step. One good thing about Salesforce is that because it's growing very fast and the demand of Salesforce professional was increasing, they came up with an idea of having a platform, a web portal where you actually can start learning Salesforce for free. And you just can sign up with your Facebook or LinkedIn, or you can just create a login and start learning. This learning is in the form of, very interactive. What you can do is you can read the exercises about a certain topic, and at the end of the exercises, you can do either a hands-on, so you can just log in to the Salesforce and you do some activity, and then the quiz tests you basically whether you did that activity correctly or not. So it's very hands-on exercise. The other kind of exercise is just answering question after you have read about a topic. At the bottom, you will have question with 4 choices and you have to answer. And based on that, you can judge whether you learned properly or not. And this is the URL of the Salesforce, trailhead.salesforce.com. So please feel free to go there and find out, explore about it. Yeah, please step 5. Sign up for a voucher. So once you are ready to take the exam, you have the knowledge, you can sign up for a voucher. Either you can buy it on for $200 online, or you can maybe ask me because sometimes I have a sponsorship from Salesforce where they help me get some vouchers, and I can help the people who want to take an exam, who really seriously want to take an exam, to get a voucher for free. So please, if you're going for it, you can contact me and I will make the voucher available for you. I'll do my best. Let's go to the next step. Apply your Salesforce knowledge in a client project to gain skills and experience. As you know, your own company, DataHouse, is actually doing a lot of Salesforce. So you can, once you're ready, I'm sure we will help you to basically find a project where you can start gaining skills and experience on this. I will help you if you have any question with it, you need any support. So please, step 6, go for gaining skills. Participate in a community, right? It will help you get more awareness quickly and get more knowledge quickly, know more people around you, get inspired. That is basically the goal of a community. And I have to show you a little video about the things that I have been doing in last 3-4 years in Vietnam. Actually, this is the community we started to actually let go of shyness, let go of fears, getting people involved, getting people more aware of the careers. In this case, with Salesforce, but it can be anything that can help. This initiative can be made broader by people as more people will get associated with it. Like I said, there were 5 people in the beginning. Now there are more than 200 people. More than 300 people signed up for my sessions in universities. So things are going very well. And if any one of you would like to be, to start a community in Da Nang similar to this, then I can help you to get started. But if you have the motivation, please feel free to get in touch with me. I think this, in the end, this will help everyone, and more people will win with this. So these are some reference to my project. You will get the slide by email. So if you want, you can have a look and join these groups. Actually, that's it for now. So let's start with Q&A.
Yes. Do anyone have any question for Anu? Thank you, Anu, for great presentation. I learned new things from your presentation.
That's good. So who has the question? First question.
So hi Anu, in the chat box, we can see that Trí Nguyễn is asking, how can we in touch with you?
How can we get in touch with you? Well, just ask Hui, or I will share my email address and my phone number. One thing is that you can go to the Trailblazers of Vietnam, the page, the QR code that was shared. And if you go there and if you send a message there, you will connect to me. So here you can scan the code, like the page, and send me a message, and then you will reach me. That's the most easy option, I think.
Yes, and then we also send your, if you allow, we will send your email address, Anu, to all the audience of today.
Indeed, yeah. So getting in touch with me, the easiest thing to do.
Hey, Anu, I have questions. This is
Yes.
it. So,
Hi.
so how's your insights about the current job opportunities for Salesforce professionals in Vietnam, and what's your visions in the next 3 to 5 years?
So what I see from 2017 to 2020, what has changed is that there are many more Salesforce professionals in Vietnam. Many companies are actually investing in building Salesforce capability. This is still going on a moderate level, but what I see in the future happening very fast, and all of us can contribute to it, is that building a talented pool of Salesforce professional in Vietnam and servicing our clients in Europe, US, Japan from here. Because I think the speed at which Vietnam as a market for Salesforce will grow will not be as high as it grows in the other parts of the world. Although I would like to mention that in Vietnam and many other international companies such as Unilever, Heineken, they always promote their global solution, and Salesforce is always part of that. So they always ask regions like Vietnam to actually adopt Salesforce. So while Vietnam will be growing, what will be growing faster is, for example, Japan, US, and Europe. And that's where we can focus. And like I said, it does not matter where you are. Clients have changed their views on how to get access to consultant. It's changing that now they are not very insistent on having consultant in the floor because anyways people are working remotely, and when you are working remotely, it does not really matter whether you are in Vietnam or India or US or Europe. So as long as you are skilled and talented, you can offer your services from anywhere. So I have a very positive view of next 3 to 5 years. I think it will community will grow in thousands. Now it is in hundreds, but it will grow in thousands, hundreds of thousands, I think, in next 5 years. So I'm very positive about it in the next few years. The only thing is that it will grow when the awareness is there. So if we can, the problem will not be finding projects. The problem will be having enough people who are skilled, who are confident, who know Salesforce, and who can guide customers. So that can help. Initiatives like this can help reach that kind of goal faster, and that's why I will be keen to actually get associated with more universities, having more people who actually are recognize this as a good thing and want to participate.
Yeah, very insightful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
Duke.
I saw Duke have the question.
Hi, Anu. Thank you for your presentation. I have 2 questions. The first is that you mentioned you are a Salesforce architect. I mean, that's one of your roles, yeah?
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, could you maybe clarify on that role and give us a few details on what a Salesforce architect does, And my second question is, could you share with us the perks or benefits from the customer perspective when they receive the services from companies that use Salesforce? What are the benefits that they that they that they do not see, but as a Salesforce insider that you can share with us, that the companies do behind the scenes and the customers are receiving the benefits?
Definitely. So let's start with the first question, that to tell you more about architect role and why I did not include it today. I did not go into deep into this presentation because architect role is something that you develop not from the starting, but after a few years. So either you have to be a consultant in the beginning, or a developer or administrator. And then after a few years of experience, when you know more about Salesforce and its functional capability, a little bit about technical capability, then you can start shaping your career into architecture. And by architecture, there are different different routes to it. There is, for example, application architecture, where you know all the functional capability of the applications like Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, how do they integrate, how I can build a use case that is required by the customer using this multi-cloud approach of Salesforce. Another thing is technical system architecture, which is about, you know more about technicalities, how to deploy Salesforce application, for example, how to integrate with your other systems or legacy systems or cloud-based system. You have a lot of technical knowledge about it. You know about event-driven architecture, you know about SOAP, REST, you know about sync programming, async programming, that kind of thing. And you know about, for example, one thing very different for Salesforce is that a multi-tenant architecture. So basically, Salesforce offers the same services for everyone from the same servers, same infrastructure. So it is important that everyone uses their service rationally. And by that, I mean that everyone uses the processor or the memory time, CPU time rationally. So that if one tenant start to use it too much, then the other tenant will suffer. And this is actually addressed in the architecture, multi-tenant architecture, which actually has some constraint about how much query can you execute, how much data can you manipulate in one transaction. So that is actually the beauty of Salesforce, that they have thought about it from the beginning, and the architecture is very scalable. It still works very well with they have millions of customers, but the architecture still works so well. So application system, another architecture track is the B2C and B2B, and that is something very new. So because a B2C company, business to direct to customer company, has a very different requirement from a B2B company in terms of selling, marketing, doing customer service. So that's where they also, they have a good curriculum for architects on how to basically do that, how to do certain use cases. For example, in e-commerce, one of the use cases, order on behalf in the B2B commerce scenario, where an agent can order on the behalf of who is placing the order, the customer from the customer company. So these kind of use cases, how they will be implemented in best practices. This is actually the knowledge and skills of Salesforce architect, and that's how basically you can develop into a Salesforce architect, focusing on either application or system or B2B, B2C architecture. I hope that answers your question. There are certain certifications that you have to take. So I have, for example, 7 to 8 architecture certifications. There is sort of a pyramid where you have to take all the certification, and then you become a certified application and system and B2B, B2C architect. So you have to take that journey step by step, taking certification one by one, preparing for them. So I hope that answers your first question. The second question is about customer benefits. So Salesforce, why is it beneficial? The first thing that is beneficial is that it's a multi-tenant platform, and because the resources are shared, the cost goes down for the customers because they do not have to maintain servers. They do not have to think about security. Salesforce has very high standards of security. They do not have to think about maintenance and upgrades because Salesforce offers 3 releases in a year, every 4 months, where they bring in new features, majority of which is actually for free and some are paid. And in this way, they are automatically are upgrading the application, and client have to do nothing about it. It's just upgraded. They got the new feature. They log in and they see the new feature. So that is the power of Salesforce, and how they basically provide benefits to their customer. In terms of business, for example, their e-commerce is very scalable. So all the big companies have requirements where they have to process millions or billions of transactions every day, and for that you need a system that can scale. And with Salesforce e-commerce cloud, for example, it can scale very well. So all the companies like Adidas, Disney, they are using Salesforce e-commerce cloud. It's also very very intuitive, very user-friendly customer experience. You can integrate it with your marketing, your sales, so that you have a one view of the customer. So sometimes what we do is, as customers or consumers, we are ordering something by using one email address from mobile, another email address from the computer, another phone number from the our mobile. So if you do not have insight into that this is one customer approaching us from different channels and different phone numbers and different email, it will be difficult to understand the worth of individual customer. So Salesforce allows you to actually create that view, customer 360-degree view, by having all this in place, in a very low-code manner, configuration-based manner, rather than that you have to do a lot of coding for it. So I hope that answers the second question.
And thank you for spending time with us. And yeah, we see you in the next event.
Yeah,
thank you very much,
organizers, Three, Joe, Do, V, and Thao, and especially to other speakers, Mr. Anu from the Netherlands and Mr. Key from Hawaii, making this an online event to be possible during this pandemic. Hoping all of you a happy New Year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you, team. Thank you, organizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice lunch and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Everybody, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes.